David, thanks for the introduction. I see a lot of familiar faces, so good to see you guys again, especially for the ones that were on the last call. If you guys don't know me, my name is Andrew Cruzy. Built and sold a coaching business. Marco Cortezi was my sales rep in that business. Dude's an absolute fucking savage. So love Marco. Took a year off, went to a Buddhist monastery for a month and went to an ashram for a month because I was so fucking burnt out. And then I read Atomic Habits by James Clear. How many of you guys have read Atomic Habits? Cool. I love it. Really good book. He said you don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. And I was like, oh shit, I got to create better systems in my life, in my business, in my finances, all of that stuff. So that's what I've devoted my life to over the past 3 years in my businesses and my team, just building out the best systems possible for time design, relationships, finances, getting ripped as fuck, going out on as many dates as possible if that's what you want to do, and making as much money as possible. So that's what we do. Does that sound great? Okay.
I think someone just got a chub. There we go.
There you go. I have a girlfriend now, but if you guys
Sorry, guys.
if you guys are in the dating scene and using dating apps, let me know. I have a whole SOP on it that works really well. I went on 70 dates in 90 days in Mexico City a year and a half ago when I was single. So just hit me up and I'll get it to you. But I'd love to hear from you guys. I have a whole presentation ready to rock around productivity and time design and all that good stuff. But what are the biggest issues that you guys are experiencing when it comes to that? What are you looking to get out of this presentation? Why did you show up today? Get laid in 99 days guaranteed. Oh, that's my next funnel. Okay, cool. SOP for finding US wife. I got you. But if you guys want to hop off mute or share in the chat the number one reason why you showed up here today, that would be great.
Okay, guys.
Calendar management.
Calendar management, time management. Fucking love it. I got stuff on there for you.
Task management.
Task management. Okay, that's a good one. We'll add that in there. Managing calendar, stay energized. Oh, you're gonna fucking love this, Andres. This was built for you. Cool. Good. What else? What else?
One thing is like like if you have like an end of day admin routine, when there's just like let's say you've booked a lot of calls, which is a good thing, but then you've got just a stack of admin and just like keeping track of everything, and also like having you're fatigued by the end of the day, right? So just making sure you get it done as efficiently as possible.
Cool. Love it. Yeah. The biggest thing that you'll get out of this is time blocking. So key is time is what we want most, but what we use worse. Time blocking is the key, having really clear goals. And you guys have probably heard your vision drive your goals drive your planning, and your planning drives your execution. And having regular feedback loops to plan and time block so you own your fucking time, right? So we'll get into that, but love it. Cool. Task switching. Yes, don't do that. Get into a fucking flow state. It takes about 10 to 15 minutes to get into a legitimate flow state. There's usually friction the first 10 to 15 minutes. So if we're constantly task switching, we're never going to get into that flow state where we can get 8 hours of work done in 2 hours. And that's what we want to optimize for. So cool. Move out of Bali. I keep cool. Bali, sweet. Love it. Bali's dope. Cool. Sweet, sweet, sweet. All right. So we'll get into it. Thanks for downloading that stuff. So I'll drop this in the chat as well. This is the productivity workshop for sales reps. How to add 3 hours of productivity and focus per day through time design, state systemization, and story selling. and story selling yourself. When we can better story sell ourselves, we can better story sell other people as well. So you 2x your productivity and inevitably 3x your commissions. And best of all, never fucking burn out again. How's that sound to you guys? If that sounds good, put a 1 in the chat, put a 2 in the chat randomly if you fucking hate my face and you're off this Zoom. You can leave now if you want. Cool, cool, cool. Ones, love it. Scott, Andres, Richard, Matthew, love it. Callum, awesome. So we have a limited time here. We have an hour and then we'll be on another call in like 2 weeks going into values work. If you guys haven't done values work and clearly identified your values, that's one of the easiest ways to get more energy when we're clear on what we actually care about and designing our time around that. So we'll be doing that in 2 weeks. But I'll also give you an opportunity to join the Self Mastery Academy. It's $97, quit at any time, and we go super deep into this stuff with just 1 call per week, and we have all our breath work, our fitness. I'll put the dating SOP in there too, all that good stuff in there. So you'll have that opportunity. We have 5 spots for that, by the way. But I have a question for you guys. Are you experiencing one or more of the following? You work hard, but every day feels like a blur. And although you did a lot, it feels like you didn't really move forward. And put a 1 in the chat if you resonate with any of these. Aimless action, you put your nose to the grindstone and get work done, but it feels like you don't know precisely where you're going, contributing to a feeling like you're on a hamster wheel on a daily basis. You're steamrolling sales. Your nervous system is so fucking activated and you go to the next sales call or outbound dial, barely present for any of it, and the prospect can feel it, and you leave countless deals on the table or booked calls. Or morning mania, you wake up, you feel good, you drink a cup of coffee, you hit work like a fucking madman, and then you crash in the afternoon, leaving hours of productive work on the table. And maybe you're going through relationship breakage where you work so hard during the day, and you're focused, but you lose focus of your partner, your family, or your friends at night, leading to relationships falling out or breaking apart. Or maybe it's focus failure. You sit on sales calls, can't focus, and it's going all over the place. You try to center on the conversation again, but it keeps going off. Or you have that afternoon energy crash where you work great in the morning and then the afternoon comes around. You just want to sit on the couch and watch YouTube and contributing to countless missed hours of productive work. Any of you guys dealing with that? Got another person coming on. Cool. Sweet. Got a couple 1s there. Yes, sir. Well, you're in the right place to get that solved. So the biggest problem here is our minds, our brains. So the reason why we lose focus, we hit an energy dip, we act like our inauthentic self is working from the amygdala. So when we have a buildup of cortisol, when we have a buildup of stress, then we start operating from the fear portion of our brain. But for you guys to design your time, design your calendars, and actually get the maximum amount of work done and cross those 20, 30, 40K commission months, we've got to intentionally move to our prefrontal cortex and get out of that fear mind and back to our prefrontal cortex. When we're in that mind, we just want to fucking cope. We want to watch YouTube. We want to watch porn. We want to do all that shit that just lowers our fucking energy. So today I'm going to show you how to get out of that amygdala and back to the prefrontal cortex. So when you set up your calendar, you can actually fucking stick to it. And we're also talking about time design here. Does that sound good to you guys? Cool, sweet, awesome. This is my methodology. Tony Robbins has a great state story strategy framework. When we can align our thoughts, our feelings, and our actions with the current moment and our goals and our desires, that is where we enter a flow state. So if you guys ever fucking fall off track or your mind is going all over the place, you can't focus, just think state. I need to optimize my state. Your brain will go off track and be like, no, don't do that breath work. No, don't do those push-ups. Don't go to the gym. Your brain's fucking lying to you. What you want to do is get back into the body, back into the heart, and get into a better state. Now, there are five different types of hormones and neurotransmitters I want you guys to remember. We got dopamine, serotonin, endorphins, oxytocin, and cortisol. Cortisol is good when you're drinking coffee or when you kind of have that drive of like, oh fuck, I don't want to be poor, and like you just like you have that not scarcity mindset, but you have that drive. That's good. But an excess of cortisol is bad. We don't want that. How do we offset that cortisol? It's by stabilizing our dopamine baseline. So if we're getting a lot of cheap dopamine hits, scrolling social media, pornography, drinking regularly, it's going to raise our dopamine baseline, which then we're going to have less focus and less motivation, right? And we're going to talk about dopamine detoxes and dopamine modulation later on, so you increase your focus and your motivation, right? So you can close more deals. And then serotonin. So this is the happy, joy, calm molecule. It is the antidote to cortisol. We're going to do some breath work together here on this call. I'm going to give you what I call a power pivot. This is one of the best things that you can have in your back pocket as a sales rep to reset your energy, reset the intentions in your mind, and be more present on those sales calls with your loved ones and doing outbound dials and all that good stuff. Cool? Endorphins. If you guys aren't going to the gym regularly, if you're not hitting weights, fucking do it. Albert Einstein said we cannot solve a problem in the same energy that it was created. Endorphins are one of the easiest ways to shift and change energy. Just like Matt Ryder telling jokes on calls and like talking about like kangaroos kicking them in the face. When people laugh, it's releasing endorphins and resetting their energy as well. So this is an easy way to shift their state. You don't want to overuse comedy or humor on sales calls, but now you have something in your back pocket where things are a little dry and it's kind of like on sales calls, quick joke, endorphins are released, and then it resets the energy so you can redirect their mind, right? Oxytocin, the ability to connect. If you feel disconnected on sales calls, then you might be disconnected with people in your own personal life. There's another quote that goes, you're often tired not because you've done too much, but because you've done too little of what lights your soul on fire. So what I want to invite you guys into the opportunity is identifying the things that light your soul on fire that you fucking love doing. For me, I fucking love golfing. I've been golfing since I was 5. I love going. So I make sure at least on a weekly basis, I'm going golfing, and I actually went golfing with James here last week, and that was fucking awesome. So that's oxytocin. Make sure you're connecting with others, connecting to yourself, all of that stuff. You'll be more present, more connected on sales calls or outbound dials, that sort of stuff. And then we talked about cortisol already. Cool. So I'm going to pause there, and then we're going to go into story selling a little bit. But what did you guys take away from that? One piece of gold, cheap dopamine hits could be trouble for you, 100%. It will lower our, focus and motivation will suffer if we're getting a lot of cheap dopamine hits. And we're going to be talking about dopamine modulation. That's where I would start. If you're drinking 4 cups of coffee per day, cut it back to 3 and then cut it back to 4. Modulate the dopamine first, and then you can do like big dopamine detoxes and that sort of stuff. But then over time, you'll feel your motivation, your focus come back. Cool. Can't raise my hand for a question. State management, that is key. Yeah, the key to becoming a really good sales rep or entrepreneur is the ability to handle stress. That's what it comes down to. Like fucking Elon Musk, he's not doing a great job with it right now, but that dude can handle a lot of fucking stress. Like, do you know how much shit he has to deal with it every single day? Like that is the key to becoming a great entrepreneur or sales rep is the state management, the stress management. Cool. Love it. Learn to change our own states, then we can change other states 100%, man. And then you can drive with that clarity and that conviction on your sales calls when you're present, when you're in the moment, and knowing how to do this. Good. Awesome. Love it. Good stuff. Need more oxytocin. 100%, Luca. Hang out with communities. I know we can get trapped behind our computer, but on a Saturday or a Sunday, if you can just plan up one meetup with your friends per week and being intentional around that, you'll show up so much better as a sales rep because you'll get that oxytocin when you're hanging out with your friends, just joking around, having a good time. Make sure that we're not isolating ourselves. It only hurts when we're hiding. So stop fucking hiding, get yourself out there, right? Cool. Love it, love it, love it. Sweet. A lot more scientific than I thought. Awesome. I love to blend the spiritual and the scientific. Kangaroos punching him in the face so he can't remember. Yeah, cool. Awesome. Good stuff, guys. Thanks for sharing. All right. Then the second S is story selling. So this is optimizing our state, our body, our heart. Story selling is optimizing our mind. Sell yourself on your new story. We can't give what we do not possess, right? So work on your own values, your own purpose, your own mission, your own vision, your own beliefs, your own principles. Values, think about right now. What do I fucking care about, right? My lifestyle values, I categorize them. My lifestyle values are community, connection, philosophizing, travel, and family, right? That's what I really care about and how I live my life. And then I design my life around that. I build a business around a brotherhood, a sisterhood with a lot of community and a lot of connection. I get to think deeply about subjects and create my own systems, frameworks, and methodologies out of them. So that's philosophizing. I get to travel wherever, whenever I want. And then family is building my future family with my girlfriend. So I build my time and my life around that, right? My vocational values are systemizing, researching, and teaching. So that's what I do all fucking day long. I built my team around that. I just get to research different subjects, systemize them, and teach them. Yours will probably be around influence and persuasion and those sorts of things. For me, that's not a big thing for me, right? And then my educational values, what I love to consume, are human dynamics, spiritual studies, and human behavior. So I love sociology, psychology. Those are the main things that I study and systemized in spiritual studies. So identify your values, what you really fucking care about. There are also like relationship values. So like I love people with depth, humor, that are inspiring. And you have a list of 3 to 5 things for each category, because if everything's important, nothing's important, right? So purpose, why are you here? When you know your values, you know your purpose. My purpose is to create systems around human behavior, social dynamics, and spiritual studies, right? That's just one version of it. And then mission, what are you going to do while you're here? What's your vision? Where are you going? And for sales reps, for you guys, anybody in influence and persuasion, one of your core beliefs should be, I am a creator and destroyer of beliefs. That's all you're doing on sales calls. You're just creating beliefs and you're destroying beliefs. Beliefs to purchase, to trust you, to trust the company, to trust the offer, and also destroying beliefs around those things, right? So they actually take action. Also, another belief, core belief that I have is I'm the director of my own thoughts, feelings, and actions. I'm the director of other people's thoughts, feelings, and actions, right? And what is the number one driver of behavior? Anybody know? What is the number one driver of behavior?
Neat.
Subconscious mind. Subconscious mind.
Okay, that's good. Fear, emotion. Solid. Those are good. Those are close. Beliefs. Environment. Sweet. Boom. Callum got it. It's identity. And our identity is just an accumulation of beliefs. I am, people are, life is. It's just an accumulation of those beliefs. So what you're doing on sales calls when you're outbound dialing is shifting and changing people's beliefs, changing their identity and how they actually make decisions, because our identity drives our behaviors, which drive our results, right? So the better we can get at shifting and changing our own internal beliefs, the better we can help shift and change other people's beliefs, right? Does that make sense? You guys with me on that? Cool. However, it is impossible to shift and change our own beliefs if we're operating from the amygdala. If we're operating from the fear portion of our brain and our thoughts are just running, we'll always get the same results. So inside of here, state management, moving from our amygdala to our prefrontal cortex where we're aware, present in the moment, change can only happen in the moment, being aware of those thoughts, those beliefs, and shifting and changing them. I'll give you a quick example because I think this is important. So I was doing somatic therapy about 2 years ago after I burnt out and all of that stuff. In somatic therapy, it was just on Zoom, and they have you feel into the body. I had this strong pain around my heart. She had me expand it. She was like, expand it 3 times, 6 times, 9 times. I kept feeling it. And a thought came up in my head, which was, Andrew, you only care about yourself. Andrew, you're so self-centered. My mom I was a super independent kid. My mom used to tell me that all the time when I was little. That was my programming from when I was little, the beliefs that she installed in my head, which she didn't mean to. I fucking love my mom. But it got me to this point of, holy shit, that belief is holding me back. And I shifted and changed that belief where I was like, I deeply care about people. I want everybody to succeed. I'm a caring and compassionate person. And I became way more extroverted after that. I could open up because I had the fear around, if I open up to people, will they think I only care about myself? And it limited my capacity to open up to other people. So there are probably these core beliefs that came from childhood and programming that if you just shift and change that belief, it can change your whole reality. Or on a sales call, when you can help discover that one belief on the sales call that's creating that person's whole reality and help shift and change it for them, that's what will open up new possibilities and new opportunities. Does that make sense? You guys with me? Cool. Sweet. All right, I will get to that, James. Save that bad boy. And then principles are how we make decisions. So we have life principles, relationship principles, money principles, that sort of stuff. Example of that, one of my work principles is if I won't work with somebody for a lifetime, I will work with them for a day. It's a principle from Ray Dalio, and it's helped me say no to clients that would just drain my fucking energy. And it's also helped me with hiring as well and making sure I have the best team possible. So that's an example of one of those. Cool. So the big thing that we're going to go into here is the third S. So strategy streamlining. So aligning your strategy with your vision, and going into time design, morning journaling, and those are the main ones. Boom. Okay. You went through that. Boom. Okay. So what I want to go into first is time design. Down, boom. We'll go to time design here and then execution for sales reps. And then we'll go to your daily winning formula here. All right, so let's hop into here. Let's get some takeaways and then we'll go into time design. What were the biggest takeaways from the 3S method that we just went over? Cool. And Mark, I'll call you out, man. What was your biggest takeaway?
Probably would say about the beliefs. would be like, and yeah, I'm curious to know the answer to James's question, like how to identify those if they are in our blind spots.
Yeah, love it. Beliefs, and the only way to discover our beliefs is getting in moments of presence, being a witness of our mind. We're not our thoughts, we're not our feelings, we're not our actions. We are the observer of those, what I call soul, when we're in those moments. And when we're observing our thoughts and we're like, oh, this thought keeps coming up. Oh, where is that coming from? Where is that coming from? And then you just keep going back and being like, oh, okay, it might be there. So that's one way of discovering those thoughts, and getting down to the belief, right? The other way is feeling into the emotion in the body, and a thought will come up. A powerful thought will come up. If it's a negative emotion, usually that's associated with a belief that might not be optimal. I don't think there's good. I don't think there's bad. I think there's optimal and not optimal. And might not be driving us towards our highest self and becoming our best self, right? So those are a couple different ways, but a couple other takeaways. Pavlov, Ashley, Max. Let's go with
It was
Pav.
it was a good reminder. Like a lot of this stuff I know, especially the identity thing. Like you got to remind yourself sometimes that you don't do things throughout the day just because you do them. You do them because that's who you are. That's your identity. So if you're a SDR, then you're doing calls because you're an SDR, not because you're Andrew Tate, right?
Yeah, and we need to be reminded more than we need to be taught, right? That is how we ingrain it into our identity and who we are. And that's why you guys are here at 7th level. You get the reminders all the time being on this fucking team, and that's what makes you guys better sales reps, right? So, cool. Love it. So let's hop into time design. What I invite you guys into the possibility of is setting up your ideal calendar right after this call. So what you want to have, time is what we use, time is what we want most, but what we use worse. And the calendar is the easiest way to manage our time, right? And optimize our time. Here's some things to put on. Put your ideal sleep time on your calendar. I invite everybody into the possibility of creating a morning rhythm for themselves. This is 30 minutes to an hour of being super intentional with the rest of your day. So what am I going to get done today? Who am I going to reach out to? How am I going to prepare for these sales calls? Really good questions to ask yourself first, like in the morning, get in a good state, and then be intentional with your day, right? Deep work time, holy crap. If you guys don't have an hour to 2 hours blocked off on your calendar for no calls, that's the perfect fucking way to make sure you have at least an hour to outreach back to those people, and close more fucking deals. I recommend that everybody has at least an hour blocked off on their calendar just for follow-ups, which Jeremy Miner hates that word, for outreaches, whatever you guys call them in there. Just block that off on your calendar. Nobody can fucking touch it, right? So also energy rituals, energy breaks, getting out of the head back into the body, right? You can put 15 minutes on your calendar, like before a sales call or after a sales call, to make sure that you're becoming more intentional, getting out of the head back into the body. And we're going to do a breath work session here to show you guys one of them. Also, we have different modes. To have better relationships in our life, we have to be intentional of switching out of work mode and into relationship mode. So this is a big reason. I had a relationship 2.5 years. It was in Encinitas, California, a beautiful, amazing girl. Number one reason why we broke up is because I didn't know how to switch out of relationship work mode to relationship mode. Now I do 10 minutes of breath work at the end of each workday and set new intentions for my relationship with my new partner or friends I'm meeting up with, and I visualize how that night is going to go from a place of being centered, right? And then you have a transition from relationship mode into sleep mode. So if you guys want to get much higher quality sleep, I have a video for you guys on this document for that. So cool. Take 15 minutes to set up your ideal calendar, and that's where it all starts with these things. And I have an example here. Then on a daily basis, this is amazing for getting the most out of your days. If there's any blank space on your calendar, think about what would be optimal to do during that time and fill that time in on your calendar. And just, I have mine, boom, right here. You just click it open, beginning of each day during your morning rhythm, and block off each hour. What's really cool about this is when you get to the end of the day and you have like relationship time on your calendar, hanging out with friends, you will be far more present with them if you have that blocked off on your calendar. Like, it will tell your brain, this isn't the time to think about work, so I can rest and reset and connect with my loved ones and my friends in this moment, right? Does that make sense? Are you guys with me on that? Cool, cool, cool. Sweet. So are you guys committed to setting up your time design, your calendars, all that good stuff? Sweet. Love it. Cool. So let's get one or two takeaways from the whole presentation so far, and then we'll do breath work. And then I want to get into dopamine detoxes and dopamine modulation. So let's see. Max, what do you have?
Yeah, I got a question on flow state. So I noticed like anytime I'm like sales training, I'm responding to SMS, or I'm just like making like edits or like tweaks to my script, I notice I get in a flow state where it's like I just lose track of time. Like sometimes I do it too long and I don't even realize because I don't even notice what time it is. But when I'm making calls, I feel like I can get into that flow, but once the call's done, then the flow's out. Like I want to get to the point where I could just make calls and I just forget how long I've been making calls for. I don't know how to do that though.
Yeah, so your question is, how do I get into a flow state with calls?
Yeah, because I could do it easily with some other things, but not with calls.
Yeah. How long are you're doing outbound dials?
Correct, yeah.
Cool. How long are usually your blocks for outbound dials?
I wouldn't really say I have a block. Yeah, I wouldn't really say I have a block. Like I'll be calling people, then if I check SMS and I see someone responded, I'll go respond to them, go back.
Cool.
It's just like that.
This is perfect. So that's task switching, right?
Yeah.
Just block off an hour just for straight calls, like no DMs or anything like that. That will help. That's one way of like getting into that flow state where it's just a dialer. You go all the way down. Don't switch between the two of them. Other great way to get in a great state when you're interacting with people is intentionally connect with somebody that you just love connecting with. Maybe it's somebody on this call, maybe it's a friend. Like what I used to do when I went on a shit ton of dates was I would call my best friend Dakota before I would go on that date. And then I would joke around with him and it would change my biology from just being lit up by that. And then I was more flowy on the date, right? You can do the same thing in sales, is just connect with people that you love to connect with and just like flow with them. And then you'll be way more flowy on the outbound dials.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Can we go back to some of the other, that SOP a sec with some of the task management stuff as well? Did you cover like the calendar stuff, and then there was another section I think you were going to go through, like with their tasks?
Let's hop into that and then we'll go into the breath work. I think
I wasn't sure if you also wanted to show your SOP stuff, your human OS stuff.
Yeah, I'll jump into that as well. So Daily winning formulas. Create one for yourself, for your own personal biology, your relationships, that sort of stuff. I'll show you mine. And then create one for work. So definitely work with David here, where it's like, these are the 5 things. If I just do these 5 things every single day in my role, I will be successful. And then you just check those things off every single fucking day. Or for me, I'll show you, boom, part of the human OS here. So with these, and I was showing somebody yesterday, I actually got these in. This is my daily winning formula for myself. I do 50 push-ups in the morning. I do 10 minutes of breath work. I do 10 minutes of meditation. And then I jump into work. And I do cold exposure. I design my calendar. I do 10 minutes of visualization, 10 minutes of reading, and then 30 minutes of exercise every single day. So if I do that, I'm going to think my best, I'm going to feel my best, I'm going to act my best, right? That's my daily winning formula for my own personal life. And then have a daily winning formula for your role as well. If I just do 50 outbound calls every single day and I just do 25 DM outreaches, things that are in your control, then you'll be successful every single day, right? And you guys can create that together. So does that make sense? Daily winning formulas, simplifies life. Cool. So how I like to start my days and how our clients start their days is with a morning rhythm. So we get into the optimal state first. So I have what's called the Holy Trinity morning formula. We strengthen our physical energy, process our emotional energy, and focus our mental energy so we can be our spiritual energy. If you guys just commit to doing this for a week, you'll definitely feel the fucking change and you'll be way more intentional with your days and close more deals. There's a link right here that you can go into this, boom, and do the Holy Trinity morning formula. I've got the links to the apps right here too. Insight timer for meditation, pause breath work for meditation, and then just hop down, do push-ups, right? And then setting up your day. So what do I choose to be grateful for after you do that? What do I choose to be grateful for? Shifts, changes the energy. What calls do I currently have on the calendar? How will I prepare for them? Who are my hot prospects in my pipeline? How will I reach out to them? And what skill sets do I desire to improve today? What resources do I need or people to connect with to improve this skill set? If you just prepare your day with these questions, you'll be more clear on how you're outreaching to prospects and also how you're actually going to enroll that person on that sales call, right? We have limited time here, so I'm kind of going through this. I don't want to get through this presentation. I want to get it through to you. But let's see what we got here. So time is what we want most, but what we use worse. Here's a recommended outreach time, 2 to 3 hours in 1 to 2 chunks. Exercise time, block 30 minutes to an hour off on the calendar when you're going through an energy dip. That's the easiest way to have more energy during the day. I have my workout time at 2 o'clock because I know I'm going to hit an energy dip then, and then it boosts me for another 1 to 2 hours just by going to the gym. Review sales calls, review DM conversations. That's the easiest way to become a better sales rep. So make sure you have education time on your calendar as well. And then we're going to do a power pivot together. So every 2 to 3 hours doing a power pivot to get out of the mind and back into the body and be more intentional. During the day, deep work, 2 to 3 power pivots. I recommend creating one piece of content and creating your own funnel. I used to work with Cole Gordon here. The reason why he was able to do a 274K launch in 2 weeks was because, and why he was able to become a 30, 40K per month sales rep is because he owned the shit out of his prospects and his leads. every prospect he talked to, he added to his personal profile on Facebook, and he was consistent with creating content. So they would go back to him, and he would stay top of mind for them. So just a little pro tip right there. And then we talked a little bit about transition from work mode to relationship mode, and transition from relationship mode to sleep mode. I've got some recommendations here and a link to our training on how to sleep like a god. So that's pretty fucking good stuff. Definitely check that out. Cool. So what questions do you guys have for me before we go into breath work? What were the big takeaways? There's more that I can share, but I hope I got the point across there. We can talk about dopamine modulation and all that, but yeah. David, what do you think would be best?
Team, it's your time. Like, has that kind of covered it, or is there anything that's like still missing that you guys want to dig into? Well, what do you guys want to know more when it comes to like the optimization and the efficiency stuff? Dopamine.
Yeah,
I'm really curious on more of like the. Oh, Kevin, you got it. Kevin, you got it.
you sure? Yeah.
You were
Okay.
speaking, right?
Yeah. All right. In terms of like, if you do get like, just fatigued throughout the day, sort of like the question I started off with, like, and like you get towards the end of the day, and then is there any sort of like, I guess what I learned from a big takeaway on my end is like state shift. So you get to the end of the workday, you're super fatigued, and then how can we reshift our energy to make sure we just, get admin, all this sort of boring stuff done as fast as possible?
So it's about pacing yourself throughout the day. So being intentional with these power pivots to reduce the cortisol and increase the serotonin, so you have more energy throughout the day, or adding in an exercise during one of your energy dips. It's more about that pacing throughout the day than it is just this one thing that you do. Time blocking, fucking huge. If you can just time block the 30-minute admin stuff, if you really need to do it, make sure that that is time blocked. If it's something outside of, like, when you get to a certain point, have a VA for leverage to fill out some of that stuff and get shit off your plate, as well, if possible. I know a bunch of sales reps that have VAs to do all the admin stuff, and they pay it out of their own pocket because it helps them save a lot of their energy and a lot of their time. Did that give you a good enough answer?
Yeah. One clarification, when you said an exercise, like is that like doing push-ups, going for like a walk, or like what type of exercise?
Yeah, another thing that we go super deep into in the Brotherhood and the Self Mastery Academy is environment design. The easiest way to stop habits and start habits is optimizing our environment for those habits. So everywhere that I travel, I make sure that I'm either living in a gym, or it's in like in a facility with a gym, or in walking distance. Because gyms, like lifting fucking heavy weights, is the easiest way for me to recoup my energy and look fucking good, right? Find your own thing, but what we want to get to is getting out of the head and back into the body. So usually during 20 minutes of exercise, we usually hit that point where, like, holy shit, I'm in it with these muscles right here. And that's a point we want to get to, because there's focus mode and then there's diffuse mode. And we can't focus better if we're not intentionally getting into diffuse mode of not thinking, getting into the heart and getting into the body. So setting up more time in our calendar to get into diffuse mode. And we're going to do a breathwork session here, and one of the easiest ways in 5 minutes to get into diffuse mode together. So
Yeah, thanks heaps for that.
cool. Love it. Andres, what do you have?
Yeah, part of it was that I was curious about like the breath work and that part of it, but then also more about like the dopamine, because I catch myself in like the middle of the day, like I do like 90-minute chunks of like dialing and stuff. and then
Mhm.
I'll take like a 5-10 minute break, and I catch myself like scrolling on like Instagram and stuff like that. I'm curious how
Mhm.
like that impacts my ability to focus later in the day at like 3-4 p.m.
Big time. Fuck yeah. And I'm not perfect with it either, but there are things that you can set up. If you're not using it for work, just delete it from your phone right now so you're not tempted to do that. If you guys are watching like late night TV or like Netflix on your TV, just unplug your TV and put it in the closet and replace it with something else. Whenever we're removing a habit, make sure we're adding something. So thing that changed my life was quitting drinking and setting a goal for 90 days to quit drinking. And I replaced it with going to the gym. That's what helped me really quit the drinking. And I threw all the alcohol out of my house. Dopamine is everything that drives us biologically. So the better we can get at lowering our dopamine baseline and being cool with just being present in the moment, kind of going to one of your questions, Pavlov, around tolerating stress, the more we can quiet the mind and slow it down and be present in the moment, that's how we don't engage into these habits. Because what's causing us to engage in these habits is our amygdala, our running fear mind when we're drained. So just adding in more opportunities, move to the amygdala, out of the amygdala to the prefrontal cortex is the key. Cool. Dopamine modulation. Cool. All right. What else? What else? Cool. You guys down to do some breath work together? Yep. Cool. Mac looks stoked. Just
Oh yeah.
that guy slays. You are one call closer right there. I can tell, man.
Used to be.
Love it. Cool. How many of you guys put a 1 in the chat if you've done breath work before? Put a 2 in the chat if no. Richard, I love it. Kevin, love it. Sweet. Cool, cool, cool. So there are different ways to do breath work. What we're going to do is a power pivot together, which is a 3 to 5 minute breath work session to increase serotonin, happy, joy, calm molecule, and decrease cortisol. Really good way to get into a good state, get out of the fear portion of the brain to the prefrontal cortex so you can be more present on sales calls and close more deals. And then there are also longer nervous system reset breath works. My favorite breathwork dude on YouTube is Breathwork with Sandy. If you want to look him up, do some of his 30 to 45 minute sessions, 2 to 3 hours before bed, and you'll enter more of a flow state over the next 2-3 days just by doing that. Also, if you get the opportunity, do breath work with a group of people in person. The energy is so fucking different, and you can feel into other people's energies, which is kind of cool. All right. Cool, cool, cool. You guys ready? All right. So sit back, relax, make sure that you're sitting down or laying down, either one. And boom. Here is one of my favorite power pivots. This is inside of the Self Mastery Academy if you guys want to join us. We have 5 spots available right here. I'll pop the link in the chat or send it over to David. But here, there are 3 rounds, and you can either breathe in through the nose or breathe in through the mouth. Doesn't matter which. You can't do breath work wrong. As long as you're breathing and breathing in fully, breathing out fully, you're freaking good. We'll do a breath hold together as well. There are 3 rounds of breath holds, and you'll feel this shift and this change of energy. So, sound good, guys? Cool. Let me make sure I've got the audio set up. Cool.
Hey, and welcome to 3 rounds of energy breathing. Inhale through your nose and exhale through your mouth. Sit down or lay down and prepare for breathing. Let's begin. And breathe in, out, in, out, in, out, and follow the rhythm. Deep breath in and exhale fully. Hold your breath. Prepare for round 2. And breathe in, out, in, out, in, out, and follow the rhythm. Take a deep breath in and hold. And breathe out. Last round. And breathe in, out, in, out, in, out, and follow the rhythm. Take a deep breath in and hold. And breathe out. Join the breath community.
Just follow that breath in and out. Notice that peace, calm. This is the perfect state to feel gratitude to shift our internal biologically, wiring our synapses for gratitude. What are you grateful for in this moment? If you ever have trouble finding gratitude, you can use the alphabet. Think about the letter A. What am I grateful for that starts with the letter A, and then B, and then C? Just feel into one thing that you're grateful for in this moment. Visualize it, see it, feel it. Let it expand. Now set an intention for the rest of your day. What are you committed to feeling? Maybe love, it may be power, maybe connection, maybe empowerment, maybe strength. What is that one word for you? Now simply visualize the rest of your day. What are you going to do tonight? Who is it going to be with? What are you going to feel? Or if you have a sales call, how's that sales call going to go? How are you going to show up? How are you going to feel? You can visualize yourself asking for the credit card numbers and typing it in and feeling that. And it all starts in the mind first. Then we bring it into reality. When you feel the nudge, you can flutter open those eyes and come back into the space. Cool. How do you guys feel? A little bit more peace, a little bit more calm. Amazing. Cool. And there's James. You're not Hunter. All right. We have this in our back pocket at any time to get out of the head, back into the body. And this is where we change. This is where we evolve, is when we can first see it in our mind. So I invite you guys into the opportunity, the possibility of calming the nervous system down more and visualizing the outcome that you desire. Whether that's a vision for your life, what you're going to do for the rest of the day, or visualizing that sale happening, right? And you guys have the skill sets. So when you can get into the right state and visualize that outcome and it happening, then you can flow on those sales calls or those outbound dials, right? Cool. Well, I have some extra time. If you guys want to go into questions or dopamine modulation, anything like that, or if you guys want to share your experience from the breath work or any questions for me right now. See you, Andre. See you, Mark. See you, Ashley.
I got a question, Andrew.
Yep.
So when it comes to like dopamine detox or like modulation, like what is sort of like a good like precursor, maybe like symptoms you might be experiencing that might tell you that you might need something like that?
Yeah, great question. So I would say basically everybody on this planet needs to modulate their dopamine more. because things have been created to addict us. Social media, caffeine, nicotine, all of that stuff. And it takes us away from being our true self, being more present, being more motivated, being more focused. So I would say dopamine modulation is always a good thing. And expect the suck more so with dopamine detoxes or weaning yourself off of something. That's the first thing. If you're looking to quit vaping or looking to like take down your caffeine intake, expect it to suck for a few days as your body resets, and just trust in the process that it will. And then you'll feel more motivation, more focus, all of that. My best dopamine detoxes, like there are 3 different levels to it as well. I invite you guys into the possibility of doing a weekend dopamine detox, which during COVID, I did this every single weekend, every Sunday. I call it like, if you're experiencing kind of like light burnout experiences, try this. On a Saturday or Sunday, put all of your electronics in the closet, unplug the coffee machine, just don't drink coffee, put away the vape, and go into nature, whether that's to the beach, to the forest, to the jungle. And for the day, just focus on not thinking, doing more breath work, doing more meditation. And like, there's some people that are really hardcore, like don't talk to your friends or read a book or anything like that. I'm not that fucking hardcore. It's really just working on not thinking that whole day, getting away from social media, electronics, coffee, vape, sugary foods, I would add that in there as well. And what you should experience is, if you haven't done this, the next day you should feel the best that you've felt in a long time, just by doing this one day. And you can do this over and over and over. If it's really bad, like take a week off of work. Like this is like severe burnout. And I love Deer Park Monastery in Escondido, California. I went and hung out with monks for a month out there. That's one of the best ways to just take time off and completely dopamine detox, going to a monastery or an ashram. Usually it's like $500 for a week, and they feed you and like you meditate and do stuff there. Same thing for like a month if like you're basically dead, right? So that's what I would say about dopamine detoxes. And then we have everything written down on dopamine modulation here as well. If you know you're drinking too much coffee, cut back to 2 cups tomorrow and have a cutoff time for your coffee intake. Expect it to suck at first. And then over time, over 3-4 days, your body will get used to it. It'll get back in balance. So, good question. Cool. Yep, I think you have access to this document. Boom. And yep, Luca, I gotcha.
So you mentioned after you do your detox, you feel the best. What is that feeling like?
Oh man. So if you haven't gone a day without coffee and then you have a coffee the next day, it will hit different for sure. That's just an example of it. But that one day kind of sucks. You start getting like a little headache at the end of the day, that sort of stuff. But then the next day it feels really good to drink that cup of coffee again, you know? And that helps reset it a little bit with just a quick dopamine reset. Yeah, did that answer your question? Cool, awesome. Max, how often per day would you do breath work? Also, how many times per day would you do it? Yeah, Max, I recommend 2 to 3 times doing power pivots per day. We just had a new setter come in to my team. He was completely fucking burnt out from the last company he was working for. I got him on doing 2 to 3 power pivots per day, and then doing 2 ritual resets per week. So the 30 to 40 minute ones, 2 to 3 hours before bed. And after a week, he said he felt the best that he had ever felt in the past 2 years. So that's why I recommend 2 to 3 power pivots per day. Move the body, and 2 ritual resets per week. Good question. What are the negatives to drinking coffee so much? Eli, great question. It burns the shit out of your adrenals. So I still drink coffee, but I have a cutoff time at 2 o'clock. I usually drink about 2 cups per day, and then coffee has an 8-hour half-life. So if you're drinking after 2 o'clock, then if your cutoff time is 2 o'clock, the caffeine will be out of your system by 10. So that's helps with sleep. With caffeine, it affects everybody differently, but these are like basically what caffeine does to the body. And if you're having trouble sleeping, usually it's around late caffeine intake that's really fucking shit up. And I don't recommend quitting coffee or caffeine altogether. There are so many benefits to caffeine, but if you can find it within yourself and in your schedule for taking 2 weeks off of caffeine, your performance will suffer, but it will reset your baseline for caffeine quite a bit, and you'll start feeling it again. So those are my tips around caffeine. The negatives, it creates the stress response, the cortisol response. It also gives us a dopamine boost too when we're drinking it in the morning, so we get that motivation, that focus. But we operate more from the amygdala, fear portion of the brain. And if we let this stress go on and on and on, it can burn out our adrenals, and we can burn out heart fucking core. But just modulate it. Good question. Sweet. Yeah. Cool.
Any
Mac, Kevin?
tips?
Yep.
Oh, sorry, Mac. Did you have a question?
Yeah. Go ahead.
And I might have a bit of a unique situation here. Any tips for people that work like yeah, I'm the guy that like lives in Bali, so I work US hours. So I work like reverse hours, or the graveyards. Any tips for that?
Yeah, graveyards fucking suck. Move to Scottsdale with everybody.
Yeah,
But
that's
with
gonna be the
yeah, but with
long
what you
term.
have now, the issue with graveyard shifts is it throws off our circadian rhythm. And a key component to like just being human is seeing the sun and watching it go down. When we get sunlight on our eyeballs first thing in the morning, it hits our iris, then it goes to our pineal gland, which creates serotonin, and it stops creating melatonin, which is the what helps us fall asleep. Also, when we see the sun set, it starts to activate the melatonin response and turn off the serotonin response. So that helps us fall asleep. So if you can get a sunlight, there's some sunlight that you can look at first thing when you wake up. Or if the sun is still out, is it still out when you're waking up?
Yeah, it's up now.
Cool. So when you're waking up, get sunlight on your eyeballs. That's the very first
Oh,
thing.
when I wake up. Yeah.
Yeah. And make sure it's well lit and everything like that. Doubling down on energy rituals and food, timing your food correctly, and caffeine. just timing your caffeine correctly is more important for people working the graveyard shift because they don't have the natural benefit of like being in rhythm with what the earth is doing right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, taking what you learned here and implementing these energy rituals and everything with caffeine and all of that stuff will be super helpful.
100%. Thanks, brother. Appreciate it.
Cool, for sure. Yeah, I fast in the morning. The only thing that I eat before like 4 o'clock is fruit and some protein powder and that sort of stuff. I usually have a juice and then have coffee to kind of have a little base there. But I eat very, very little between when I'm working to like 4 p.m. But I love fruit, love protein powder during that time to keep me going. But I feel way more mentally sharp when I am fasting in the morning. If you're eating a fucking burrito or a pizza midday, please stop. That's just gonna kill the shit out of your performance. Cool. What else? Cool. Sweet, guys. If you guys want to learn more about the Self Mastery Academy, just reach out to me on Facebook. I might present more on it next time I'm here in a couple of weeks. I just want to drive a shit ton of value for you guys, and I hope you guys got it and can take one key note away from this. I'll drop the presentation in the chat below. The biggest action items from here is design your calendar. Get that going. Should take 20 minutes to set this bad boy up, and then do it on a daily basis. Because time is what we want most, but what we use worse. One thing that we didn't go over was the execution for sales reps. I'll do that next time. And hop into the free community and do the morning Holy Trinity morning formula. And I'll pop this in here. Boom. Cool. Sweet. Awesome. But if you guys, any last questions for me? Anything top of mind that I can support you on while you have me here? Mark, was that helpful?
Yeah, bro. Appreciate you spending extra time with us, and yeah, all the value, and looking forward to the next session, huh? Thanks.
Cool. Fuck yeah, man. Love it. Feel good with 6 hours of sleep and one power nap. Is it a bad thing? No, people are so fucking different on sleep. Like Tony Robbins only sleeps 3 hours per night. He's a savage. I sleep 8 hours. That's when I feel my best. So everybody's different on sleep. Naps are really fucking powerful. Albert Einstein took a nap every day at 3 p.m. Like, it helps us get out of the head, back into the body, all of that stuff. So that's good. Cool. Love it. Kai, do you have something for me, man?
No, I just joined back. I had a call, but I got it recorded though.
Sweet, man. Do you have any questions for me around your energy, your time design, being more productive, anything like that?
No, well, while I was here, I think you pretty much like covered everything. Like, I think I need to map out my thing as well, just like my ideal day, and then yeah, I'll just go from there.
Cool. Perfect. Yeah, and on the next one, I think will be really powerful are helping you guys define your values. But the biggest thing, best framework to set goals is a 3-year vision. It's long enough time to see massive change in our lives or in our businesses. And then setting up 3-month quarterly sprints to get to that vision. So the 90-day year, and then on a monthly basis and a weekly basis. So I don't do annual planning or anything like that. It's just too long and too short at the same time. It's 3-year vision, 90-day goals, 1 month checking in on how those are, and then weekly as well. So we'll get into that on the next call as well. So Cool. Hunter, Max, Kai, everybody else here who aren't on camera, James. Great stuff, guys. And I'll see you guys on the next one.